Hi guys, so welcome up to my name is Pedro. Please like and subscribe. That will really help the channel. And so, hope everyone is doing well. By the way, so I have a little theory regarding Bitcoin and CBDCs and some concepts I wanna expand on. So here we go. So let's say Bitcoin becomes the world's reserve, or one of the most valuable things in the world, because it's a commodity. It has been proven, it has been shown, or it was proven by the SEC, that it's defined as a commodity. It's not a security. There's a lot of issues in cryptocurrencies with commodities and securities, and then what's the definition of a security and commodity in crypto. That's a whole different thing with the platforms, and people are selling, benefiting from cryptocurrencies and all these things going on. But Bitcoin becomes one of the most valuable things, and it beats gold in the market cap, or it becomes the same as gold per se. It becomes same as gold, or bigger than gold. It becomes valuable, and then as currencies throughout the world fail or are in the process of failing, banks and government will have to find ways to to maintain power and control, dominance in their currency, because currency is dominance. I have power over you. So if Bitcoin becomes this vast thing, right, which is governments and banks using CBDC, which is centralized bank digital currencies, will either voluntarily buy Bitcoin or seize Bitcoin. And that's kind of hard because Bitcoin is decentralized. How will you know where it's at or who has Bitcoin? So that's a whole different ballgame. So if they do so, if they buy into Bitcoin, then the price will go up. It will be more justifiable. Seizing that is almost kind of impossible. If they back their CBDC with Bitcoin, for example, it will give them leverage over other currencies in the world, and will give them it would let them have or retain dominance and control over not just its citizens, but over the other countries that have their currency as a main currency. And that's when it comes a little bit interesting, because when it comes to the decentralized, something that is decentralized, it's the whole sole purpose of it is for people to have a level of liberty, a level of privacy, which is a big thing in Bitcoin and decentralization, privacy. To exchange from one peer to the other peer without a middleman, which would be the banks. The whole system would be autonomous, and you wouldn't need a bank. You would be one A to B. It's like the bargain system, basically. But that would be the interesting part behind banks, either governments and banks buying Bitcoin or seizing Bitcoin. I don't know how they're gonna do that, but it would be very difficult. Or banks, central banks, and governments passing legislation like Biden just did to investigate cryptocurrencies and assets and stuff, NFTs, and allowing all this technology to come into banks, and basically make policy that will allow people to use those assets to put them in a bank safe, or allow them to be retained by the government. Like, it's okay to have this, or like you could have this. Banks could implement, like, I want to take out a loan, I'm gonna use my Bitcoin to take out a loan, so I could use my Bitcoin as collateral and then apply for a loan. If I don't pay up, they take the Bitcoin, which is more of like a reasonable approach. And if they do that, the price of Bitcoin would be skyrocket, in a sense, because it would be legal. It would be legalized and would be regulated by the government, and banks would be able to hold it, give out loans. People would be able to buy goods and services. And if you have a backed up centralized government, currency backed up by Bitcoin, it will threaten the centralized currency. It's like a race of who gets the most of Bitcoin. Who gets the most has the most leverage over the other person. And if you can't do it by force, then you have to find a system where you allow people to put their Bitcoins or their NFT or whatever assets into your banks, government regulated banks, and they allow them to exchange, to sell, or just implement cryptocurrency or Bitcoin, for example. This is something I'm trying to into the system. So Bitcoin will become part of the system. And when you do that, and you give a certain level of privacy to individuals, you have strengthened your economy by allowing a asset which is valuable, and which is seen valuable or is considered valuable in the whole world, to be traded and interchangeable and secure in your country. And then you have you have centralized currency that will stabilize. It will stabilize. It will go up in price or value because of that. That's just my theory. This is my opinion. It's not financial advice or anything like that. But this is just how I think things would eventually settle down. Because right now they're trying to figure out what it is, what it's not, what are the securities, or we know Bitcoin is a commodity. How we deal with it, who gets to deal with Bitcoin, what government agency, and in a sense, they're trying to figure out what it is, and not what it is, how to deal with it in a more steady pace. Because they're going to take time, and when they're ready, they're going to implement Bitcoin or other assets into the economy, therefore increasing the GDP of the country, in a sense, and the leverage of power they hold over other countries. But yeah, I hope you guys like my theory. I write this a lot in my notebook, and if you like the video, or think about something and think I'm wrong or right, I don't know, just say it in a comment, and let me know. I'm always open to suggestions, and I'm